Welcome to the third map of the evening. King Sejong Station is the map. The fight is going to happen on spawning. To the top left-hand corner in blue, playing Terran for Euronics Gaming, it's Sylvanas! And spawning to the bottom right, in green, playing Zerg for Team 1F Pro and the United States of America. It's Wryza! And I hope you had to have barfed during this introduction. So, doing the Hyper Reno just because I can, and here's the first barracks incoming for Sylvanas. So, TVZ! Unfortunately, the FSL is lacking Terran players right now, after Miyako decided to give herself a challenge this season and switch from Terran to Protoss. It's only 2 Terrans left, Sylvanas being one, Grizzly being the other. So, hopefully, there are female players out there watching right now who play Terran and would like to join the FSL, because that would just be great if you did. So, but of course, every other player, every other female player who just plays any race is welcome to join as well. The more, the merrier. And the more players we have, the more things I can offer you to play in. And that would be just great, because I really want to do more of that stuff, if I can, and if you give me the possibility. But I need people! So let's see how everything is going to work out. We have the typical bread and butter build for Zerg here, going into hatch first, and then into extractor, and then into pool. Actually quite interesting here, like I said before in one of the earlier casts, the season mode just works in a way where the player with the lower MMR can choose the first map, and I think in this case Wryza should have been the one with the lower MMR, since Sylvanas is a Masters 3 player and Wryza I think is Diamond somewhere. So maybe not at that point in time, but Wryza choosing King Sejong Station as Zerg against Terran is an odd decision, if she really was the one who chose the map. So, link speed already in the making, just all the good usual stuff, not really much to talk about. And so we can really be glad that actually the introduction of the game doesn't take 6 more minutes like in Wings of Liberty or Heart of the Swarm, where you just had to bridge over these parts forever, unless one person was doing some sort of proxy shenanigan build. So, I think Sylvanas will be just go into, well, not kind of her usual build, I feel. Well, she just went into the Reaper, which is quite common, to just get the scouting information and then just maybe pick off a drone over here, if she can, and then she just transitioned into the command center on low ground, getting the barracks up with the reactor, getting another barracks and the tech lab, in order maybe to get stim out a little bit more early, and then just going into factory that will mainly be used to transition into the starport in order to get medivacs out a little bit earlier, because usually Sylvanas just waits for 2 medivacs to arrive and then just picks up all the marines and sometimes a widow mine she just produces out of the factory here into the 2 medivacs and flies across and tries to deal damage. That's just her usual plan. That's what we've seen her do a lot of times, and sometimes it worked out quite well and sometimes it didn't. So let's see how Wryza can manage the aggression that's probably headed her way in about a minute. So in the meantime, Wryza just takes a 3rd base, just common good old stuff, wants to get her economy up. That's usually the best thing that a Zerg can do, but of course it's always difficult to be done. That's mostly the main problem. And she really wants to take down this debris over here, because some Terrans just like to abuse the terrain and plant down siege tanks here. And then the medivacs just grant them vision towards the high ground. And if you haven't taken down this debris over here, the tanks can just keep shooting at your mineral line and maybe onto your extractor. That's just covering that that Vespene guys here overall. So you can just do tons of damage, and then maybe even just pick up a tank, just fly it in here to shoot something here, just fly it back, it gets covered by the other tank. So it can just be pretty annoying to deal with. So usually you just want to take this debris down as soon as possible, so that the Terran doesn't even get the chance to do it. Actually, we haven't really seen Sylvanas do it that often. I think not at all, because like I said, this is just her usual gameplay plan. She just transitions, or she just goes into the 2 medevacs, fills them up with marines and mines. She has kept producing until then, and usually if you do it really well, it also lines up with Stimpack once you arrive at your opponent's base. So she also has the Zanaga Watchtower under control, which is a very nice move by Sylvanas, just preparing the route she wants to take beforehand, knowing that maybe there could be a scouting link that could just destroy her surprise. So she actually just takes the tower, does even know that maybe an overlord could scout her over here, so she unloads a little bit earlier and will now just stem into the 3rd base, and there's just nothing here to defend. Only one Spore Crawler that might help out against the medevacs a little bit, even picks up, okay, that was just a misclick. So, now, of course, Wryza knows what's going on. She's already seen the Marines. Okay, scan even going down. Probably just, I don't know, maybe she just wanted, or was thinking there might have been either bailing bombs or just already creeped down. Don't really know what that scan was for, but she just moves in, scans, sees that there's bailing around, moves out a little bit, just loads in immediately, and maybe just wants to get in later. I mean, she already has, she still has the Widow Mine in position, so if she just manages to lure a lot of forces into that mine, she could just deal way more damage at that point. But yeah, unfortunately they're now even losing a few Marines there to the Banelings, and it seems as if again she just will not be able to deal the amount of damage she actually wanted to do. Queen's now in position, so finally Sylvanas has kinda retreat for now, because with the Queens there she doesn't really want to fly around with fully loaded medevacs. Might just keep them here for later and then just return into the 3rd base later on if she can. But for now, Wryza just managed to deal with that harassment quite effectively. Hasn't lost any mining time, hasn't lost any bases, hasn't lost any economy, and that's actually the most important thing. And now she just does the counter attack, just wants to see if she can deal any more damage, even eventually just gets into the supply depot, gets into the base because the supply depot was down for the Marines to help to retreat. But yeah, of course, just move commanding next to Marines will get your links killed pretty easily. She still knows that there's no base right here. She sees no mining here, so she didn't even need to check with the links for a 3rd base. So she's still 1 base ahead, which is always a neat thing to be. And she just moves into a quick infestation pit, so she will be able to just move into hive straight away, then going into the oh-so-dangerous Ultralisk tech. But of course, until she's reached that step, there's still a timing window in which Sylvanas can just move over her, and there's a lot of Marines with 1-1 and Stim. Combat Shield is already done. We have a lot of medevacs, plus the Liberator in place as well, and there's only 2 Queens and a little bit of links, and now actually Wryza even moves off of creep, which is actually never a good thing to do. Widow Mines have already been in position, taking out most of the links as we speak, so Wryza needs to make sure that she doesn't engage off of creep, because that would just get all of her Banelings killed. Is Baneling speed done? Well, this is only, I think, the speed. Yeah, that's just the advanced movement speed. So at least she can kind of engage. Okay, nice little movement back, but nice focus firing there by Sylvanas as well. Just getting one. Oh, was actually looking beyond a lot lately. So just trying to focus fire down the Banelings like a pro here. Just getting all of those. Now moving into position with the Widow Mines. So again, if these Banelings move down by the wrong angle, they can just come across these Widow Mines and just get killed in an instant. And if that happens, bam! There's one shot, one another. Okay, nice splitting there by Sylvanas. Not all of the Marines get killed. We only have one Baneling left. Sylvanas just kills it down by focus firing. And now it's only Queens against Stimped Marines with 4 Medivacs around. So the... Okay, just maybe a little bit more retreatment than was actually necessary. But yeah, getting at least a few drone kills and especially... killing off most of the Banelings was the really important part. Actually, the mines are still intact, nothing here to scout them and kill them off, and in the meantime the reinforcements back from home have already arrived. We have the 3rd base already up and going as well, so this is looking tremendously well for Sylvanas here. Now also even setting up the liberation zone here, getting another one done, and now all she needs to do is just luring all of these Banelings into the mines. The rest that's back are actually only roaches, but the roaches also deal quite a bit of damage here, just not enough in order to take down these counter-healed Marine Marauder forces. All of the units die. The Infestor unfortunately doesn't help at all. Sylvanas just clears the creep as well for later engagement. More and more army forces reach at her base. Sylvanas' macro just on top of her game. Wryza just doesn't have enough lava anymore because she had to have her queens parked in front of the base for so long, so she couldn't really lava inject and cannot really spend her money. Sylvanas already doubling the supply of Wryza. Wryza just fighting for her life, trying to deal as much damage as she can with the banelings. Actually gets very nice connects here, but it just doesn't matter because the big fleet of, or the big force, the big ball of army, or just the big line, sorry, the long line of Marine Marauder already arrives. Ooh, a little bit overstimmed here by Sylvanas, but it just doesn't even matter. 3-3, almost already on the way, while her opponent is actually only having, I don't know, does she even have upgrades here? I don't know if she even managed to get upgrades. It's 2-2 actually. Whoa, Wryza even also being on top of her upgrades there, so very well done. But it just doesn't matter. The bio just stims over everything. Second base has now died. In the meantime, Wryza has at least taken a fourth base over here, but it's barely saturated. It's 41 to 52 workers, which would still be kind of okay, but the army supply just tells it all. Sylvanas now just moving in. Wryza doesn't want to give up yet, but it's just not going to be enough. Every unit that spawns out of that layer over here just dies instantaneously, and that's it. Sylvanas takes the first game. Apotheosis is the map of choice. Spawning to the top left hand corner in blue, playing Terran, it's Sylvanas. And to the bottom right, in green, playing Zerg, we have Wryza. Another interesting choice by Wryza. Loser's pick, so Wryza picked this map. And, okay, just doing the extractor trick because she obviously forgot to build her overlord maybe, or just wanted to squeeze in another drone over here. Seems as if she just wants to go into... well, I don't know, can't really say that, so we'll see where this drone is going. Yeah, okay, she chose it deliberately, so it's going to be a gold cheese. But I think Sylvanas is going to expect that. So I don't know if she will really be able to deal that much damage. Still, even if you know that a Baneling Bust is coming, or some sort of Ling pressure, it's probably going to be some sort of Baneling Bust, right? I expect. Even if you know that it's coming, it can sometimes still be tricky to really hold it off. So let's see what's going to happen. Sylvanas just sending out the scouting. SCV will then confirm that it's indeed a hatch, a gold hatch build. A Gangnam build, as the Koreans like to say. Well, actually the Gangnam Terran build was when you lifted your command center and flew it to a nearby gold expansion in order to just get better mineral income and then just overwhelm your opponent with a mostly marine based force, because the additional minerals just would allow you to produce marines that quickly that your opponent sometimes just couldn't keep up. Okay, there's the confirmation now. Sylvanas knows what's headed away, has still taken her command center on the low ground. We'll see if this is going to work out or not. It's something that might work in Wryza's favor, if she just manages to get out links early enough and then maybe harass her opponent. So Sylvanas probably, okay, just getting an extra barracks already, going straight into reactor. No Reaper this time, because she's already seen everything that she really needs to see there. So she actually just wants to get up as many forces as quickly as possible, I feel. Now knowing that her opponent is probably just going into a mass Ling and then maybe, probably, just a Baneling. I mean, just having mass links alone against Terran that can wall off counter repair, and the first unit that a Terran produces are actually ranged units, so that's just something you normally don't want to do. Okay, there's one Reaper, never mind, I overlooked it. But yeah, actually, I mean, Sylvanas can just now micro a little hard out, while Wryza can just keep her away from dealing that much damage, especially with the Queen and everything. Unfortunately, transitioning a few of these drones a little bit too late, and it's actually not even fully saturated. So normally you really want to have 12 workers at the gold bases as quickly as possible. Seems as if Wryza might just be doing this build kind of on the fly, with not really having it practiced that often. But yeah, I mean, what's the sense of taking the gold base if you then just don't fully saturate it and make the most out of the gold minerals as quickly as possible? So you normally just want to transition 12 workers just barely before the hatchery pops, so that they will actually arrive once the hatchery is finally done. That's just the best timing you can get for. In the meantime, also getting a third base, so it seems as if Wryza doesn't even want to go into any kind of cheese, but just wants to go for like an economic cheese, you could say, just buffing her economy early on in order to get the hatchery out a little bit quicker, and then of course getting the better economy faster, and then just transitioning into a normal late game. So we'll see how this is actually going to work out, or maybe she just wants to Roach Ravager bust her opponent. A little bit unpredictable here. We can't really tell what's going on so far. A lot of possibilities that Sir could be going from here. So Sylvanas only having one teensy beansy bunker here, and the Overlord just actually knows everything. So again, like I said, I mean, Wryza could have really overwhelmed her opponent pretty hard here, I feel. There's so few units around. If she had just pressed the Ling button like crazy, knowing that the wall off is not up, that could have just... and then again with Banelings maybe, that could have just hurt Sylvanas so hard. So yeah, maybe an all-in would have been actually the better choice here, especially without this, especially with all the scouting information. I mean, you can always say, yeah, well, you as an observer know everything, but the player doesn't. But in this case, Wryza actually knew everything, so Still, I mean, it was her plan. She didn't really want to step away from it, and sometimes that's actually the best decision, not making too many decisions on the fly, but rather stick to your plan and go through with it. So, Roachhorn is done. We have Burrow incoming as well, so that's an interesting choice. So it seems as if she might just want to go for some Roach Burrow aggression here. A lot of Roaches being pumped out right now, so it really seems as if she just wants to abuse the Burrow mechanic, like kind of like Blink with the Roaches. We'll see whether it's going to work or not. So now with the help of the Medivacs that grant her side of the high ground, she finally just manages to take out that scouting overload over here that now has seen that everything is closed off, and Sylvanas just going for a typical marine mine push that could actually just... well, that could actually hurt kind of bad. I mean, there's no vision, no detection over here. Let's see where the Medivacs actually just want to fly in. Wryza just having very nice Overlord spreading here, just sees everything, should just easily see these Medivacs now. And, well, nicely done by Sylvanas, just drops down the Marines and picks off one more Overlord for free, just dealing all the damage she can get. But of course now she's given away that she wants to drop somewhere, and another Overlord just moves in, spotting it once more. Will Sylvanas just try to get it again? No, she doesn't. Now she really wants to fly in, but of course Wryza has seen everything. Don't really know why she's not moving in position. I mean, or hasn't she watched at the minimap? That's always the same thing. She saw it, but did she really see it? That's just the question. I mean, Sylvanas also still waiting, but she's now flying in. There's nothing here to greet them. Well, at least, okay, there's a few Roaches, never mind. But, well, there's few Roaches. Well, I mean, it's only Marines and Mines. Sylvanas just realizes that there's a lot of units to greet her, so she doesn't really want to commit. Also, Wryza just having a few more Roaches already on the move. So, like I said before, it seems as if she really wants to break through the front using Roach Ravager forces. And she has a lot of them. Also, a lot of Lings she should actually, I feel, also take with her. But maybe she's just afraid of that drop over here that she still sees, actually. But now it moves back. Okay, Sylvanas will just probably, again, unload and kill off that Overlord. Nicely done by her, just doing the little moves here. And then just loading in and flying out once more. Yeah, that's what these... safety links are still back here. So Wryza now just trying to break through the main entrance. It's a bunker, and it's mostly Marine Marauder with a few Medivacs here, so she's probably just going to pull all the workers, and then I feel with all the forces behind it, if she doesn't break, well, she breaks through the bunker, that's the first good thing here, but it's still a lot of stimped Marine Marauder bio forces with also the workers over here. So Wryza seems to be fully committed, just always a bad move now. He doesn't really know what to do, if she really wants to take down more workers, and thus losing her whole force, or if she just just wants to retreat, now finally decides not to retreat. That was a little bit indecisive here, so now she will end up losing all of her workers, all of her roaches and all of her army actually, also moving in with the circling reinforcements, just killing off mostly of these mostly of these bio forces here. There's a wide open gap, she can actually move in, but she doesn't really have that many units anymore. There's also the Liberator now closing the gap with a liberation zone over here. Roach is just moving through, but there's just too much stimmed bio in the siege tank as well, so Sylvanas should just easily hold this off, and the push has been held for now. Yeah, I feel as if Wryza could have just dealt way more damage if she just had decided to focus down the workers and just get the economic damage done. I mean, most of her roach forces was done for anyways at the moment she engaged. Seems as if she didn't even have roach speed there. Is that possible? That looked a bit odd there, how they just waddled away. No, she does have it. So maybe a little bit too late, or it was just the concussive shells slowing down the roaches I was looking at. But yeah, that was a bit odd there. I think, like I said, a little bit indecisive. Didn't really know, should I not, should I not? Just moving forwards and backwards, losing a lot of roaches in the process. And now we have the counter push incoming with tanks and liberators, marine, marauder, and a few mines, but we also have a few ravagers in the mix as well. It's not that big of a group though, but still the better concave for Wryza here. So it seems as if Wryza will be able to just pressure back her opponent for now. And, well, okay, has to be careful here, Sylvanas, that is. So, no, not really hitting the Liberator as best as she can. So, Liberator stays alive for now, but I don't really feel that Sylvanas can actually make a lot of things happen. Still can do the soft contain, always threatening her opponent, always making her committing into more units, while she herself just tries to take a third base and trying now to saturate it. Okay, moves in once more, just trying to chip off unit after unit a little bit, then just retreating underneath the Liberation Zone if she can, but the Liberator got killed in the meantime. So now it's time for her to back up, but it's still kind of even supplies. Sylvanas now even taking the lead with an 86 army supply, but the workers are a little bit behind. Okay, wow, that was the bile overkill over here. Okay, just intercepting a few units that were walking across the map once more. Just meeting with the reinforcements that are still streaming and rallied forward across the map. So, Sylvanas still with relentless aggression. Just wants to attack as much as she can. Just keeping the pressure up, keeping her opponent from tacking by just attacking again. Chipping away units, forcing her opponent to just keep producing units. Okay, now even sees the force base, reacts immediately, knows, oh, you're scanning over there to my fourth. Well, where will you attack next? But of course it could just be a trick. In this case it isn't, and Wryza also realizes that because of that overlords that were also hanging over here. But yeah, would have been just nice not to move all of the forces over here, but maybe just leave a little force behind, luring your opponent over to the left hand side and then just stim in over here and kill off everything. Although the space is actually not really that important anymore. Okay, now the big engagement over the left-hand side. Wryza already splitting up her forces, tries to bring some banelings into the Bioforce, but this is going to be quite difficult. We have a tank set up, we have a liberation zone in front of the army, we have a lot of healing going on, my god, the sound. And Sylvanas can actually just easily stim in, get close to the hatchery, just tearing it down, or at least getting the hit points low. Will actually be able to take it down without Wryza even realizing that it's happened, and that's of course a big loss already for Wryza. Now trying to chase the army, just running in most of her bio-destroying forces, wasting them into the tank, and now most of the links are back behind that. It really needs to take down that pesky Liberator over here that's dealing a lot of damage, but actually Sylvanas has already done what she needed to do, taking out the fourth base of a Zerg that has almost lost her usual third base over here. So actually Wryza is only on like a one base economy, while Sylvanas is actually already building another command center over here, has just taken the gold base that will just grant her a massive mineral income, and with Sylvanas mostly producing marines from here on out, and that come out of barracks that are also only cost minerals, she will just be able to reinforce her army so quickly and max out maybe even more quickly than Wryza actually can. So now just moving in, the concave is totally in favor of Sylvanas here, just even killing off the macro hatch over here that Wryza can't even actually use, and Wryza just can't really find a good angle to attack from. She only has roaches, ravagers, and a few hydras. Well, the hydras at least help her to dish out a little bit more DPS here that can actually take on a head engagement, head-on engagement with all of these Marine and Marauder bioforces here, but eventually they just get whittled down. Sylvanas' forces just overwhelming the upgrades also in favor of her. 2-2 versus 1-1, 107 to 46 army supply here. Wryza again just trying to make something happen, make a last stand with the units she has, but she will soon realize it's not enough. More and more forces streaming across the map. Sylvanas just setting everything up. GG, well played! And Sylvanas takes the 2-0 lead. Frost. Top right hand corner. Blue color. Terran. Sylvanas. Bottom left. Green color. Zerk. Wryza. Sending out her first Overlord. Will probably like the fact that it's cross-spawn position. Usually the best thing that can happen to a Zerk player on this map. Makes the rush distances from one natural base to the other one as large as possible, I actually think. I think in this respect, this is actually the largest map, cross-spawn position. So, taking the hatchery first. Sylvanas could actually even have tried to take a command center first, but that's just not her style. She likes to play her safe builds. I think I've actually almost never seen her taking a command center first, or doing a command center first build. Even not on the biggest maps. But we've seen her occasionally cheese, although it didn't quite work out the last time she tried it. But changing up your gameplay every once in a while, always something that might help a little bit. But thus far, her strategy has taken her to a 2-0 lead. And her mechanics made her overwhelm her opponent eventually. So let's see if she can do it again, because she only needs to do it one more time to close out the series. So, command center on the low ground being done, plus the additional barracks. Okay, we're actually waiting for the Reaper, right? No, it's already out. There it is. And then, yeah, doing the reactor after the Reaper, going into another barracks that will probably get a tech lab add-on, and then going into factory. That should be her plan, because we've seen it 2 times in a row already. Metabolic boost on the way. There's the second refinery. We're going to need the gas for the factory, and then all the other units and structures we want to build. So for the factory we have enough, but then for the starport afterwards, and of course then later for the medevacs and the mine we want to produce, and also for upgrades as well. So SCV now moving back. Sylvanas has already scouted her opponent, just sees that there's a third base down. Okay, just has to get away from the links for now. Won't be able to get away from the links forever, because Zergling speed is almost done. But of course the important information was whether her opponent was going for a 2-base timing attack with maybe again Roach Ravager, or just wanted to go into a 3-base play this time around. And she's just confirmed that. So let's see how she's going to react. Knowing that not much aggression will be headed her way if there's a third base down that early on in the game. So speed is almost done. Wryza not really pressing the link button, so no early aggression out of her. Will rather just want to saturate her third base as soon as possible and then get the stronger economy. Reaper just returning, seeing how far the third base is, and just then moves out again, because knowing that the links will probably be headed its way. So Sylvanas just closing off her natural entrance. while getting all the good stuff. Some more Marines, Stim, and also the other Marines, also getting the factory and the reactor. Will now be able to switch these buildings and grant the starport the reactor support, so that she will be able to just produce. Ooh, actually nice, also getting the overload for free. So that will allow her to just produce 2 medevacs at once, and also a widow mine out of this factory, plus a few additional Marines. And then we will see the typical push we've already seen twice in this series. So Sylvanas will now lose the Reaper because these Geeklings are just a little bit quicker than the guy with the rockets on his back. So I think it should be time for Wryza maybe to throw down 1 or 2 Spore Crawlers, just in order to help dealing with medevac drops, especially over here. And there they go. There she goes. Very nice. Knows her timings. Should also especially throw down 1 here. That's usually a typical position where Terrans just want to drop and move in. So, and sometimes they even want to, or just want to abuse the fact that you can just like drop on here, load in, and then just drop into the main base. And all the army units just have to move around completely. Well, for Zerglings it doesn't really take that much time. It's still annoying, and then the Terran just loads in and just moves back in here, and maybe you don't have enough forces to really split them up in order to chase her, or to chase the Terran player. So it's always a good thing to just have a Spore Crawler over here, because then it becomes infinitely more difficult for the Terran player to just engage that position with a medevac. So that's just sometimes just something I really like to do, and I've seen other players do it as well. It just helps out tremendously, although of course it costs you a little bit, but you still want to have Spore Crawlers somewhere eventually, also for Liberator harassment and everything else. So now just moving out here, but Wryza just scouts it once more with the Overlord. Again, her passive Overlord scouting just tremendously. Look at that vision, it's really great. So she already knows the angle from which the units are actually coming in, but she only has 1 Baneling here that could just easily get focus fired down. Sylvanas just tries to burrow the Widowmine, gets it, just barely doesn't get it killed. Whoa, Wryza, that was a little bit unfortunate here. But actually quite good for her that only the Overlord dies, but now Sylvanas just moves in and can just, like we said, just always move with the medevacs. In this case, she actually just retreats a little bit to the right, making Wryza believe that she just will do a full-out retreat. Wryza doesn't really know that the army just gets unloaded over here once more, and then Jill will just stim in once again once this Widow Mine is ready to fire again. So also a nice mind game there by Sylvanas here, and already Wryza's supply is so much lower than that of Sylvanas. And that actually, woo, okay, yeah, oh my god, that was the killer Widow Mine shot, just annihilating the whole army force and all of the Banelings that Wryza had there. Now just has to keep remaking Banelings one after another, while in the meantime the second big push is already pushing out, while the first push hasn't even died. Sylvanas just stimming down, focus firing all of the Banelings, actually gets them all before they can even detonating, and that, ladies and gentlemen, should probably already be it. I'm really sorry to say that, but her economy is in shambles. She's not even mining from these mineral fields. She can't really use, whoa, trader mine, not even getting one of these Marines. Actually, again, killing a hero mine with like 13 kills over here. And while Sylvanas is just harassing that base, more and more reinforcements are coming. Wryza just doesn't have enough in order to reproduce. She just has to sack this 3rd base over here in order to keep making more units at her natural base to at least stop the push over there. But even if she does, and it's still debatable if she will be able to do so, I feel that it doesn't really matter. Woo, unluckily losing, or a little bit uncarefully just losing here one of these medevacs over there. But yeah, still, Widow Mines get burrowed. If she just gets good shots, bam, okay, just getting most of the roaches. Would have been better to get the Banelings over here, but with good splitting or good focus firing in that case, wow, nice focus firing there by Sylvanas. Wryza just can't really get any of her AoE units into these Marine forces, and if she just can't stop this force, this game will be over. GG, well played. Sylvanas takes the series with a convincing 3-0.